Hello and welcome to the Morningstar Investment Conference in Milan. I'm Valerio Baselli and today I'm joined by Dan Lefkovitz, his strategist at the Morningstar Indexes team. Dan, thanks for being here.
Wonderful to be with you, Valerio.
So, you've been traveling around lately, presenting the Morningstar Indexes family and the Morningstar Open Indexes Project. My first question is, why today more than ever is very important to choose the right benchmark?
Yeah, I think it's always been important to choose a benchmark for an active strategy that is reflective of the opportunity set for the strategy. If an active manager is investing across market capitalization, you don't want a benchmark that's only large cap. But I think investors put too much emphasis on the brand of an index. We found that two benchmarks that are representing the same market or the same market segment tend to look and act very similarly because indices tend to use market capitalization, so weighting constituents in proportion to their size in the market. So there's maybe a little bit too much attention that investors pay to brand when it comes to indices.
Yeah, let's talk about a big trend concerning the passive management industry, strategic beta, or smart beta, as someone else call it.
Right.
You say strategic beta is the new active management. Why is that?
Yeah. We've seen a lot of active actually migrate into passive format. So strategic beta, we like a more neutral term at Morningstar that does not imply that traditional beta is dumb.
Right.
But these are, strategies where there's an active goal, but the implementation is passive. They're tracking an index. The issue is that even the smartest of these strategies, you really have to dig under the hood and do your due diligence because two different strategies accessing the same factor can be defined differently. They can be implemented differently. So you have to treat these like you would an active strategy and really, really look under the hood in contrast to traditional beta, which we think is pretty simple and pretty interchangeable.
Right. Another huge trend in the investing industry is sustainable investing. The problem is that when we talk about sustainability, we refer to a very heterogeneous universe of possible approaches.
Yes.
So once again, what is the role of benchmarks in that field?
Yeah. So on the index side at Morningstar, we've done quite a bit on coming up with different flavors of sustainable investments. So you have, indices that are more exclusionary in nature, keeping out certain industries that are objectionable on values or moral-based grounds. You have more ESG integration where you're looking across, dozens of indicators or criteria. You have more sort of narrow thematic, focused on low carbon or renewable energy or gender diversity, themes like that. Benchmarks can help sort of define these segments by offering, defining the opportunity set and segmenting these kind of things. But it's an area that needs a lot of definition and needs a lot of structure and standards because there's a lot of different definitions, different terminology out there.
Right.
So investors need a lot of help in navigating, and I think benchmarks can play a role in doing that.
Right. To conclude, we mentioned it earlier. Can you briefly explain what is the Morningstar Open Indexes Project?
Yeah, so a few years ago, we noticed that indexing, with the growth of passive management and indexing becoming not just benchmarks, but also investment strategies, this has really led to a huge growth in the indexing industry. And we've seen index licensing fees going up and up, while fees generally in the investment management industry have been trending downward. Right. And we're trying to combat that trend and making benchmarking more accessible, make indices more like their original usage as analytical tools and measures and gauges that help investors. So we've made a number of Morningstar equity indices available for free for benchmarking and very, very low cost for product creation. So we call it open indexing. It's like open source software where code is freely available as a public good. We're making our equity indices like the Morningstar European Equities Index, Morningstar Global Markets, Morningstar US Index available for free for benchmarking to advisors, asset managers, asset owners in a desire to make benchmarking more publicly accessible.
Thanks a lot, Dan.
Thank you so much, Valerio.
For Morningstar, Valerio Baselli. Thanks for watching.